Hi everyone. I hope you are having a good day so far, and I wanted to come on here really quickly, and hopefully it's quickly. I'm not one for just a few words, but I wanted to come on and explain in a little bit more detail what is this keto reboot kit that I talk about sometimes. The 60-hour detox or cleanse. Like, what even is it, and why should I consider trying it? So I have done, I think, 8 different 60-hour reboot and cleanses at this point, and I've had a different experience with them every single time. And actually, a few weeks ago when I was in Phoenix, I actually took a master class, and I'm one of only, I don't know, 100, maybe 200 people total that are a legit certified keto reboot coach. Funny enough, I mean, I'm not kidding. Certification, signatures. You guys, I even have a whistle. Not kidding. See if it works. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know why I would ever use this gold whistle, but it's funny to me. But I'm actually like legitimately certified to be a keto reboot coach. And so I've had a lot of experience over the last handful of months in coaching quite a few people through the reboot with me and as a part of our larger group. I think at this point we've had, I don't know, 30 or 40 people go through this process of a 60-hour detox. And hey, Jennifer, and it's awesome. So let me tell you what it is and why you should think about doing it. So a reboot kit, what it is it's a kit, comes in this little handy dandy box. It actually even has a schedule on the inside to tell you when to do what, and everything you need other than water for a 60-hour period is in this kit. And what it is, it's a kit that's designed to rest your gut and to reset your metabolism. So I don't know about you guys, but before keto and even before this kit came along, I had never done an extended fast on my own, other than one time I did a juice cleanse. And it was like a 3-day juice cleanse, which is completely different than everything that we do now. But that was challenging. But other than that, like the mindset piece of not chewing and not eating for a period of time, you know, it was not a thing I was interested in doing. So I tried this keto reboot kit, and it was awesome. I was definitely nervous going into it, just as many of you are probably nervous. If you're watching and have done the reboot, yeah, comment below about like what your experience was like and if you were nervous, and then how you felt at the end of it. So it's awesome, and it's different than just a regular fast where you're just drinking water for an extended period of time, because the purpose of a fast is to rest your gut for one, but especially if you're following a low carb diet, fasting can push your body into that state of ketosis, where you have elevated blood ketone levels and you're burning fat for fuel. Sometimes it's really hard to get there on nutrition alone, and people fast to get into that state. It's also why I drink ketones, and that's why this kit helps make that whole process much, much easier, because it contains ketones, and ketones also help suppress your appetite. So you're not starving for 2.5 days straight. You don't feel like you're just dying and miserable. Like, you actually have a quite elevated level of energy, mindfulness. There's all kinds of things that you learn throughout the process. So who should consider this kit? I would say just about anyone, except for if you're pregnant or nursing. I would say hold off. You need those calories for your body doing its job during those times. And if you're a type 1 diabetic, not so much for you. You've got other things to worry about. Other than that, if you're someone who is, raise your hand in the comments below. If you're someone who is major energy crashes every afternoon, like 2 or 3 o'clock, or if you're just constantly hungry, you feel like you can't get enough food in your system, even when you eat at the right times, you eat your meals, but you feel like you're constantly wanting more, or you've got sugar and carb cravings. You want to improve performance if you're an athlete. All of those things are really good reasons to consider doing a reboot with us. It doesn't matter what diet you follow. You do not have to be a hardcore keto person. You don't even have to be like a keto-ish person, like, which is what I consider myself to be at this point. I don't track super strictly or stay within a certain percentage of macros all the time. I just kind of stick to low carb. You don't have to do any of that. This still can be really, really good for you because, again, its purpose is to help rest your gut and to reset your metabolism. And what it does is it's going to push you into that state of not only ketosis, where you become a fat burner, and you want to use your stored fat for fuel, not fat that you take in during this time, and actually ketogenesis too, which is a process where your body is actually creating ketones by itself and you're burning fat for fuel. Those are both the goals of the keto diet, by the way, but you don't have to be following that to see some of the value in this reboot kit. So let me tell you what's in there. Let me show you. So it comes with a little box, everything you need in here. I'm just going to pull everything out. So it's going to have, I told you there's a schedule on what to do each day. And then you'll also have my keto reboot group that we do. So there's lots of attention there, support, mindfulness exercises, poking in there, just talking kind of like this to talk through what's going on. And then there's also like a massive corporate reboot group where there's, I don't know, 70, 80,000 people in there. And you can do these kits anytime, but it's really awesome to do them together as a big group. And you have this mass, like herd mentality, and, you know, people who are experiencing the same things with you. So March 10th is our big, like, next big group reboot. So let me show you what's in here and how it works. So you'll get all these little packets. And on the first night, it's usually a Sunday when we do it as a group, you'll start with one of these Keto Calm teas. And you know, you'll have a variety of different flavors, and I'll tell you about these. But what this does is it helps kind of ease you, calm you, relax you, so you can get a better, more restful and quality sleep. If you're one of those people who likes a glass of wine or, you know, a little whiskey on the rocks or something like that, just to help your mind and your body wind down at night, this is going to be perfect for you. If you're like a nighttime tea person, to have like a cup of hot tea as you're winding down for the evening, you're going to take this about 30 minutes before you go to bed. And the flavor is actually really awesome. My favorite is chai, and it tastes just like a chai tea from Starbucks. To me, this is like the best one, but everyone has a different palate. There's one, I don't have it in my hand, but there's a chocolate one that tastes like a hot chocolate. This one's a caramel apple. It tastes kind of like a hot apple cider, the hint of that caramel flavor. Here's another one called honey cinnamon, and to me it tastes like a Teddy Graham, and they're all really good. But these are really great for starting you off on the right foot, and you start off with the tea, and then you go to sleep. You wake up, I mean, that's already like 12 or 14 hours of the fast, right? So you do the teas, and you're going to do these every night, and then you're going to wake up, and at some point in the morning, you'll have some ketones, and you get 4 packets. There's 2 caffeine and 2 non. And, you know, if you're not familiar with what ketones even are, so it's a packet of powder, and you mix it in with water, and you shake it up, and then you drink them. And they help suppress your appetite. They help with cravings. They help push you into that fat burning mode, that state of ketosis. They're actually patented to do so. They give me tons of amazing energy, and it's not that jittery kind. It's like smooth, you know, your brain is turned on. I mean, ketones are an alternate fuel source for your brain. And yes, you can either create them inside of your body with the right kind of a diet, or you can drink them, or you can do both like I do. So you'll drink these, and then, you know, maybe 2-3 hours later, you'll do one of these bone broths. And you'll get 4 of these too, because you'll have 2 per day. I've got the different flavors here, and I'll show you what those are. But bone broths are huge as kind of like a trendy thing right now. You can, you know, Whole Foods, any of your food stores, you know, bone broth is a thing that you can get. You can also make it on your own. There are a ton of health benefits to bone broth. But why is this bone broth better than what you could go buy in the store? Because it's got ketones in it. It's got some other stuff in there too. To definitely help with detox, healthy skin and muscles, that kind of thing. But there's a ton of benefits for bone broth on its own. And you drink them in the same way that you would ketones. But I've got a couple recommendations for you, actually. So there are 4 different flavors, and you'll get a variety in your box. You know, they mix it up all the time. My favorite one, if you're a caramel person, if you're not, you know, it might not be your favorite, but salted caramel tastes to me like a caramel frappuccino from Starbucks. And even though it's a bone broth and you think warm when you think of a broth, this one to me is really, really good mixed up over ice. And that's actually how I drink it while doing the reboot. Not during the reboot, I'll actually mix this with coffee and some heavy cream. It's amazing. You could even blend it up with a blender and ice, and it's just like a Starbucks Frappuccino without all that sugar. But that's beside the point. So salted caramel is one of the flavors. One of them, and this is our newest one, is French onion, and it tastes just like a French onion soup. It's awesome. Keto thyme, to me, tastes kind of like the broth of a chicken noodle soup, maybe mixed with like the broth of remember the old school ramen noodles? If anybody was back in college and broke like me. Kind of like those two things mixed. It's like an herby, brothy, you know, chicken noodle soup without the chicken. It's good too. And when I drink these, some people sip them, but for me, since it's during a meal and I like the idea of chewing or eating or participating in that meal atmosphere, I'll actually put it in a bowl and eat it like soup. And this one's coconut curry. This one's awesome outside of the reboot as well to use in recipes and stuff. But it tastes exactly like it sounds, like a coconut curry. And it's really, really flavorful. So these are great. Around lunch, you'll have one of these, and then another non-caffeinated ketones in the afternoon, maybe 2-3 hours later. And then in the evenings, another broth, kind of like dinner time. Think of it that way. And then same cycle again. You have your tea, you go to bed, and you repeat the same thing the next day. And the reason that this is so beneficial, it's so much better than just drinking water for an extended period of time, which is a healthy thing to do. You're regenerating cells and you know, getting rid of dead cells and everything. You've got all these extra tools, this extra technology to help get you through and not feel miserable. Because with any diet or any activity like that, like for me, if I'm going to feel miserable the whole time, like it's not going to be worth it to me. So for this, I think it helps a ton with, you know, appetite control and all of that stuff. And then you're able to see all those benefits on the other side. Forgot to mention this, you get these Signal OS capsules too. And they have stuff in them to help with, there's a lot of vitamin B in there. And it's all made out, I don't know if you guys can see this. It might be backwards because it's on video, but this is what's in them. It's a bunch of natural stuff, but it's got things that help with signaling in DNA repair and that kind of thing. So it's one extra little piece to help boost that. But what actually is happening inside of your body during this reboot? Why does it work? I'll tell you what doesn't happen. Or what does, but it's not what the expectation should be. So you know, some people come into this thing thinking, man, okay, 60 hours, I'm going to come in and I'm going to lose like 10 pounds. It's going to be awesome. You know, that does happen for some people if you're looking at the scale. But in all reality, like no one's going to lose 10 pounds of real weight in such a short period of time. But what it does do is help you flush out a lot of that bloat. You might actually lose a couple of real pounds too, but your expectation shouldn't be that this is a magic kit and you're not going to have to do any more work ever. What it does do is to help rest your gut, cleanse your system to some degree, and it's going to reset your metabolism to where you're going to get rid of all of those cravings. You're not going to have that strange relationship with food that we all have where we're, you know, emotionally tied to it, or, you know, think that we have to eat because we usually eat at a certain time and we're hungry. You know, hold on, I got a notification on my phone. So, you know, it's going to help you through all of those things. You're actually going to work through a lot of mental things to get to a place of understanding reactions versus responses in your everyday life. I promise you, this is kind of crazy. You're actually going to get to that place where you're starting to identify the difference between appetite and hunger. Hunger being your body is physically hungry, you need food. Appetite is more emotional and what you're used to doing, more habitual. So you're going to get through all those things. So in that first day when you're doing all this, what your body is doing is depleting all of your glycogen stores. What does that mean? Glycogen is like sugar and carbs. Like when you eat carbs and sugar, your body's going to use what it needs to function And if there's an excess, it's going to store it. It's going to turn it into fat. It's going to store it on your body. Same thing happens as you're eating throughout the day. Your body's going to use what it needs, and then it's going to store it. And when people have an energy surplus, meaning you're having more calories than what your body needs, that's how you gain weight. You're storing fat. You're storing it as fat on your body when you consume too many calories, especially of the wrong type. So that's what's happening. So you're depleting the stores that are already, in your body, the carbs and sugar that you've eaten more recently. And you're getting to that state where, okay, those glycogen stores are gone. Now what are we going to do with it? And so, day 2 is when you're really going to be pushing your body into that state of ketogenesis and of ketosis, where you don't have any of your regular fuel source coming in, whether it be fat or carbs and sugar. So your body is going to start using your own fat, your stored fat, as fuel, which is awesome. But it's also going to start that process of creating its own ketones in your liver, which is really great too. And the takeaway that day is especially going to be those different triggers. What's triggering emotional and habitual eating? When are you actually hungry? And then the mindset piece to work through that, which is great. And then by day 3, you're really going to, most likely, I would say, I've had this just like every single time, you're going to hit this crazy state of like extra amazing energy. And your mind's going to be confused because you haven't chewed any food in like 2 days, but you've got all this energy and you're, cleaning the house like a tornado. That piece of it's amazing. So it really does push you into that fat burning state, regardless of what diet you've been following, which is amazing. And then, what that's going to do long term is it's really going to make you feel better from the inside out, from your gut health state to your mental and emotional state. And then you've kicked all of these, hunger and craving cues. You actually really set yourself up to improve performance. You've gotten to a place mentally that you probably didn't know you could get to before, and that you just plain feel amazing. And then, after that, the best way to optimize is to keep drinking ketones, of course, or at least to start continuing down a path of making better food choices, whether that be low carb options or something else, getting away from those processed foods. Like you really are setting yourself up for like jump starting success moving forward. So this is absolutely something that I recommend to every single one of you. I'll be doing it for my 9th time in March. I really recommend grabbing an accountability partner, whether it's someone in your house, like a spouse or a brother or a sister or a close friend nearby, grabbing them and having them do it with you too. And then doing it with us in our group. It's amazing. And I post stuff in our group all the time, a regular, keto group here, just to share with you some of the little insights and things that people have experienced. But doing it yourself is worth it, even just one time, just to see what it's about. Highly recommend it. I don't know if you guys have any questions. You can post them below. I have a work meeting that I have to jump off and, last minute prepare for. But over the next couple of days, I'll continue posting some different things. I'm going to take some snippets of feedback that some of my customers have, like my actual, people in this group who have done the reboot have said about it and what they've experienced. And if you guys are one of the folks who've done this before, please share your experience with the rest of the group. Tell them why they should do it and what your experience was, good, bad, or indifferent. So yeah, I look forward to having more people join us. I would love to, if we had 40 or 50, an amazing group of people, I don't know, that the more the merrier as far as I'm concerned. But yeah, you can message me any direct questions if you want to ask something privately, and I will give you all the goods in a very objective and honest form as always. We'll see you later. Okay, Danielle, I'll send you information. I see your note below. After my next meeting coming up, I will pop you a private message. Okay, girl? See y'all later.